Rachel Trombetta is a Delta flyer who recognizes that Delta is a part of her life and her heart and soul go into her travel. Today, we're going to meet Rachel, who's preparing for a very exciting trip to the Turks and Caicos. We'll talk to her before and during her trip. Welcome aboard. Hi everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm going to be talking to another person who is a frequent flyer who maintains Diamond Medallion status on Delta Airlines. Now, this is going to be a little bit different because she is actually getting ready to go on a trip. So we're going to say a few words right now just to introduce her, and then when she gets to her destination, we're going to talk about her flight to where she's going. So everybody, I would like to welcome Rachel Trombetta to my channel today. Rachel, how are you?
Great. Thank you so much, Peter, for reaching out. You know, Delta has been a part of my life for a long time. I started flying on Delta back when I lived in Italy and I was doing my undergraduate school, flying from Venice to London every other weekend. And I realized I needed a partner that no matter where I lived at in the world. And I've been able to maintain Diamond status for the past 5 years. I worked for a company called General Electric, where I was able to travel around the world and visit with customers on how they take their industrial assets and connect them to the cloud. And it's been exciting to be able to fly with Delta no matter where I am. You know, the phone texts me and says there's been a change, or I can, make a change by myself. I can call the Delta Diamond line, and it's just exciting.
Yes, it's very, very accessible. And myself as a Diamond, I know it's very, very easy to make changes. And it's also a great onboard experience. So have you flown a lot during the year 2020 at all?
I have flown 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
2 of those were pre-COVID. 2 of those where I had a family emergency where Delta, I called them distraught because I had a family member who we didn't think would live through the night, and they got me on the first flight out. They made sure I was upgraded, got me special priority so I could get to my family, and I cannot thank them enough. I've flown with them twice for that, and I'm getting ready to fly somewhere really cool. I'm going to Turks and Caicos in December, and that's going to be amazing.
Oh, that sounds like a great place to be, especially right now. So Turks and Caicos, is it going to be easy, you think, to get down there with COVID restrictions, or do you think it's going to be more of a complicated process? I know some countries, they're very easy to get to. Is that one of the countries where it's fairly easy to go to?
As long as you follow their process and their visa paperwork and you go get your pre-COVID test and make sure it's PCR beforehand, Delta still has the middle rows blocked. Mm-hmm. I've made sure that I've got me and my best friend who's been helping me with my family member that's in the hospital. And we're going to sit up in first class. And, every time I've flown, it's they board from the back forward. So I feel very comfortable. And the travelers I'm traveling with seem to be much more caring with each other. Just being able to see humans, everybody wants to respect that. And I can't thank Delta enough for making me feel comfortable.
Great. And I'm sure you've had those comfortable experiences as you flew during the pandemic in 2020. So how comfortable have you felt? Did you feel like Delta was doing a great job in terms of social distancing and safety and boarding? Is that something that you really like and would like to see continue on for quite some time?
I felt very safe. Every time I've boarded, I had my mask and all my own protective hand sanitizer and all of that, but they gave you that on board. They, when I walked into the plane the first time post-COVID, I was amazed at how clean it was. You didn't see any crackers or crumbs anywhere. Everybody was wiping off their screens. The app tells you that they just cleaned the plane. The orderly boarding of the plane to where people, stand 6 feet apart. Mm-hmm. It's weird. Like you're in a sci-fi movie, but it works.
It works.
We can all only help each other be safe. And I feel like Delta is doing their part on that.
Absolutely fantastic job. And I'm sure you're going to have a great experience on your trip down there. Great. So we're going to check back in with you once you're in the Turks and Caicos. I want to hear how your flight went, and maybe you can even show us a little bit about that great tropical paradise that you're going to.
Oh, it's the middle of winter time in a lot of places, so you're going to be jealous, Peter.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure I will. Great. So we'll check in with you. And to all my viewers out there, stand by because we're going to go head south.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. I hope you're enjoying this video. Please take a moment to consider liking and subscribing to my channel. And don't forget to hit that little bell button so that you're made aware of every time I post a new video for you. All right, everybody, we are back with Rachel. Rachel has just completed a trip. It's pandemic time, so things are difficult. She needed to get to her destination, and she is there successfully and safely with Delta Airlines. Rachel has made it to the Turks and Caicos. I wish I was there right now. I'm in cold New York City, quite a difference. Rachel, welcome to the Turks and Caicos. How are you today?
Thank you so much. It's amazing to be here, and if it wasn't for Delta, I would have not made this trip. My personal life, Delta's always been part of that since when I started in college to now, and I needed to get away for 5 days. The opportunity came there, and I called Delta. They made it easy. They let me know that I needed a COVID test. They made sure that my luggage got here. And I don't think we all appreciate how much Delta is a part of our life. Over the past 3 months, again, personal things have happened. Every time I step on a plane, if I'm an emotional, they calm me down. They help me out. And they've allowed me to come here. And I'll just let you see. I am, in Turks and Caicos on a beautiful island. But if it wasn't for Delta, I could not have gotten here. From the moment I got to the airport in Dallas, everything was clean. Everything was very much in line. Mm-hmm. I got a hand wipe. I sat on the plane, and even my best friend, who was my bubble, we didn't talk the entire time because it was a respectful that we're blessed enough to be able to go travel to what we need to do as life. Through COVID, we still have to live life, but we have to do it carefully. And to me, Delta is part of that because I trust them.
Absolutely. And I trusted Delta on my journey too during the coronavirus pandemic. So let's talk a little bit about the trip itself and some of the details. You started off in Texas. Now, of course, you can't get to the Turks and Caicos on a nonstop flight on Delta. There are other carriers, I'm sure, that do that. But of course,
they do. And it's the biggest challenge I have from there.
Mm-hmm.
But
right,
it was worth it.
You're living in a city where you really don't have a lot of service on Delta, so you do have to make connections. What was your trip like? Where did you have to go to get to where you are now?
I went through Atlanta, and it's not the first time. Again, personal life, I had to fly through there. This was a choice I made, and everywhere I went that was associated with Delta, it was they boarded from the back of the plane. The front of the plane got off. Everyone was cordial. There was nowhere, I'll say, one person through 3 airports I went through that I saw their mask was below their nose. Mm-hmm. And I really think it was society working together. And Delta's made a financial choice that there's no one in between me and anybody else on the plane. I know that can't be helpful to them, but it made me feel safe to where I could keep the economy going, and my world has changed. I want to invest in different places, and Delta has never let me down on that. And it was funny, I checked in, and I've always been, I've been a diamond, and I have Delta Reserve. I'm like, I have 3 bags of luggage, and they're like, oh, no, you don't. You only have 2. That'll be $150. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me think. And so they let me stand there at the gate and change. It wasn't that they were trying to discredit what I was doing. They have to run a business. But because I'm a loyal customer, they allowed me to shift and change. And the world is a tough place out there, and we all have to have partners and people and friends that we trust. And Delta has always been there for me. And so this is my little way of giving back. And I would also like to give a shout out to my cousin Patrick. He retired from Delta this year. He had a tragic death, and Delta made sure his entire family during the pandemic got to be there for his funeral. And if that's not a bigger story of how Delta's part of our family, I don't know how else to thank them for who they are.
Definitely, yes. I've heard several stories like that where Delta really came through in times of need for many families.
Mm-hmm.
So it's obviously a great company that understands the passenger, and even in your situation, going down to Turks and Caicos, they understood what you're about. You're loyal to the airline, and you were rewarded for that. So that's definitely.
When the first night, a personal part of my life, my son-in-law was in an 18-wheeler accident. Or he was on a motorcycle and he was hit by an 18-wheeler. When I flew, I had to wait till the next morning, and I was a hot mess. I knew COVID was horrible. All I needed is somewhere that I could cry, because you can't cry in a mask. And I'm diving. I was at the front of the list, but they didn't know how to move people around. And I just walked up front and I'm like, I need your help. I don't want you to wait on me anymore. I just need to be able to control what's coming out of my body. And they did. And I want to show you the card that they wrote.
Okay.
Everyone on that plane wrote prayers to my son-in-law.
Oh, wow.
And they let me sit up there and just fall apart. Because once I landed, I had to go in crisis mode. But I knew that Delta would be there for me.
Definitely. No, that's great to hear.
This is real.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's great. I wasn't expecting all that from a trip on Delta. I was expecting just to talk about a nice, pleasant experience and safety on the aircraft, which of course is very prevalent during this time. But definitely that whole human touch. It's a fantastic story. Delta's.
That's why when you said you wanted to do this, I have the human impact, and if there's any way I can share that, they're part of my family, and I couldn't be who I am without them.
Absolutely. And you're in a great place right now to just enjoy yourself after everything that you've been through. So you want to take us outside for a minute so we can see the beautiful view?
Hold on. Yes, I will. Let me flip you around.
Okay, great.
Because of the people I've met flying around the world, this is where I'm at. It's COVID-free. I don't have to see anybody.
Yeah, social distancing is not going to be a problem there.
Nope. And it's just, life is too short to not enjoy it. And so I wish all of our Delta friends and our aviators around the world, if we can be more compassionate with each other, this is peaceful. This is what peace brings to me. And if I could share that with you, then thank you for your time today.
That's the reward. Absolutely. That is absolutely gorgeous. Where in the Turks and Caicos are you?
On Choctaw Bay.
Okay. Very nice. Beautiful. And just to get to Turks and Caicos from the United States, are there any procedures that you need to follow, or is it kind of like some other countries where it's not that much going on in order to be able to?
So they are, what I love about them, they only have 11 cases of COVID right now.
Oh, wow.
So they are very strict. And I mean, just like any other travel, you have to be smart. If you get a visa, you do this. So we had to plan to make sure that we took a COVID test. You have to get a PCR test. So you can't do the rapid one. And you have to make sure.
More accurate.
Let's say I flew on a Wednesday. I had to make sure that I found a place that could ship on a Saturday to ship it to the labs, because there's only so many labs. And then once you do that, it's great to make sure you have travel insurance. My personal credit card, Delta American Express, has always given me that, but it doesn't give me the air flight. So I went through Alliance, and for $50, $90, I have me and my friend that I'm with. We can get air flighted out of here if we got sick. And
wow.
That protects Turks and Caicos of, if you bring it in, you can get out.
and it's not their responsibility, but it's also from our family. It gave them the peace of mind that we were being responsible.
Absolutely. And when you got to Turks and Caicos, did they do any additional testing there, or did they just take your test results and say you're admitted?
And before you could even walk in the airport, you had your temperature taken, you were hand sanitized, that you had to have, first of all, make sure you have everything printed and bring a pen, because no one wants to share their pen. So if you want to be mindful of that, have all your pieces of paper, you show them that, they look at it, they let you walk through. If you happen to have a friend that owns property, we'll have a different conversation on how to go through customs, but that's the point of this. Trust that you as a diamond, you have the experience. The people working at the counters that have to deal with everyday stuff, they get frustrated because just thinking, coming here, they have to get so many extra pieces of paper. I was mad. My friend was number one on the upgrade list and my name wasn't even there. So I had to go back and forth. And finally I went to ticketing, and Gloria, she was a godsend. She's like, well, why won't they do it? I'm like, I don't know, but let's go solve it. So she walked with me down the corridor, and by the time I got there, they had solved the problem. But I knew, even though it was, I wanted to be mad because, don't you know who I am? That's what all of us Delta Diamonds do. But I trusted find a way to make it happen and don't get mad. And it did, and it worked out. And I would love to shout out to Gloria.
Great. Well, thank Delta for Gloria. That's absolutely fantastic. And the people of the company really, really helped, adding that personal touch. I've got stories like that too, where Delta employees have just come to the rescue for me and they've saved me basically in some trips. So that's a great story from Gloria. Hopefully,
I'm going to give you all of my little handwritten cards
mm-hmm.
that I've gotten from everybody, just to tell the story of how much they've meant in my life.
Good. I'd love to see those. Definitely. Yes. Yeah. So they definitely make your day when things are difficult. And of course, this being difficult times, putting an additional layer of complexity to everything, just having to keep that mask on all the time while, you're going through all this and on the aircraft.
The mask is the easy part.
That's the easy part. Yeah.
It was funny. I had to actually use the loop, which I'm like, oh, there's no way ever. But it was a 2.5-hour flight. And I walked up, and on the side, they had, a hand sanitizer thing. And I looked at it. Like, am I allowed to use that? She goes, it'll cost you $5. I'm like, well, you don't take cash. Do you take miles? She goes, I'm just teasing you. It's costing you $5 because you asked the question. We're here for you. And it was just the beauty of, we don't always trust. We don't always understand, but I know every one of them. They're still with Delta because they believe of the brand and the value. And whatever we can do to keep that going, I'm all here for Delta.
Absolutely. And it just goes to show, Rachel is someone who lives in a non-Delta city. She has other options, lots of options to go other places nonstop. She's maintained her loyalty with one specific carrier just because of the great service and the personal touches that were added on to her trips. So great story, Rachel.
Thank you so much, Peter. This has been fun.
Good. Thank you for your time. Really appreciate that. Great story.
This fun.
Excellent. Well, enjoy your time in the Turks and Caicos. It's much better than where most of us are right now in the United States. It's getting colder.
Oh, believe me, I used to live in Schenectady, New York, zip code 12345, so I know it.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Great talking to you.
Everybody.